Hello, and welcome to Making Greet the Week. I am Mona Duncan, and today we are looking at Chapter 4, Part 2 of Chapter 4, on the fact that you matter. And I'm going to pull up the screen so that we can look at the PowerPoint and kind of go from there. Kind of keeps me on track, and I appreciate you uh, tuning in today. You matter. And so we're going to be looking at the 11 steps to accentuating and accepting who you are and the value of you as an individual on planet Earth. So last week we talked a little bit about, having a good, healthy self-image that realizes that we are all flawed and fabulous, but to go more for being fabulous. And so why does it matter to have a good, healthy self-image? Well, here are just some thoughts that have crossed my mind. I often, in teaching various places and talking about, I often start off by touching on the importance of self-esteem and how that as we have respect for ourselves as well as for others, what happens is when the human value is settled, we cease from being self-conscious or prejudiced. When we settle the fact that, you know what, I am a person of worth and value, and I will behave that way. And we don't have to worry about being self conscious or being prejudiced with others. So, that with a good, healthy self image, the result is that we don't waste our time on bad hair days. We don't waste our time on disliking others. We don't waste our time on being envious of what someone else is accomplishing. And then also having a good, healthy self image is that inward consciousness that you are a person of self worth and that you're a person of self worth. And realizing that there is a difference in observation and in labeling. Sometimes we'll look at someone else and we'll put a negative label on them, but realizing that, everyone has good points and not so good points. So also, again, more with the self-image and why does it matter? There are many factors that contributes to the way we see ourselves. And our givens are those things that have been embedded into our being over which we have no control. It's the genes, from 10, 12, 20 generations back that have of male and female that have come together, to have produced all the gene variables that is within us. And they're givens, they were just given to us, and we have no control over those. But there are incidents, there are in appointments, there are things that happen in life that are within our yes or no to say, that are within our power to say yes to or to say no to. So I made a little chart. Is it nature or is it nurture? Well, nature are those givens. And part of the things that those givens are is our appearance and how tall we grow to become, the color of our eyes, our heritage, our temperament, as in whether we are rather slow moving or fast moving, those kind of things, and the talents that we have. And these are part of the givens. It's part of, the gene that was taken from great, 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 great grandmother or grandfather way back when. And so it has appeared into who we are today. And then in the nurture, it has to do with the influence as to whether or not we are encouraged or whether or not we're kind of put down, what kind of an influence or a non-influence. Also, part of the nature is our collective genes. And those collections coming together, it may be like, not like one person in particular, but like a whole lot in general. It's also that there are certain things within us, because thanks to the DNA, that are hardwired. And no matter what we try to do, they're hardwired, as in the color of your eyes or various things like that. And then also that DNA, it's present at birth It displays our physical traits and it's also permanent. But then the nurturing part, because we have from the day we were born, someone had to help take care of us. We had to be carried around and fed, and absolutely, everything had to be taken care of us. And so, underneath that nurturing is how much peer pressure have we put on ourselves or have others put on us? It's those things that we learned, whether it's to behave or to not behave, whether it's to have a good attitude or a negative attitude. A lot of those things, and we begin to develop different things through the nurturing or the non-nurturing that has been available to us, and whether or not and how much changes take place. So our givens are not for our shame, and neither are they for our arrogance. We're not to be our givens is what county, state, country we were born in. Our givens is who our parents were, what color our skin is. Our givens is all of those things that makes us uniquely who we are, but yet also a family of all the different people on planet Earth. And so those givens are not for our shame, as in being disappointed that, you're have green eyes as opposed to having blue eyes, but neither are they for our arrogance to say, well, I have blah 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 and you don't. It's not that. It just is. They just are. Kind of reminds me of is a present perfect tense verb. And I think kind of they are that way, no matter how we live. We are each uniquely created and we each have infinite worth and value. And that may be something hard to understand, that I have infinite worth and value, but you know what? So do you. And that we're put on planet Earth for a reason. Sometimes it's kind of hard to understand that. But as we can begin to realize that we're here to give and to receive, it can be easier to understand. We, each human being, all 8+ billion of us, are the highest order of beings on planet Earth. And, as we realize that and appreciate that, and that anything that is appreciated goes up in value. If we just wad something up and throw it away because, it didn't have any value to us, we didn't appreciate it, sometimes we need to go back and look at those things that we've thrown away and maybe press out the wrinkles that are in them and realize, hey, I really do appreciate this. And I'm so thankful of what my heritage and my lineage is and what the talents that I have and the abilities. So behavior is more important. How we behave is more important than how we feel. And because we have a sensory system that is automatic, that we, to see and to hear and to taste and to touch and to smell, because we have that, and those things affect us, that sometimes we may think that those feelings or those smells or those sights that we've seen is more important than the way we behave, but it is not. Our behavior is superior as to whether, okay. And it is easier to think and to act ourselves into feeling differently than it is to feel yourself into thinking and acting differently. We need to look at those front wheels of the car that are the ones that have the directions for, and the back wheels of the car through the Glasser Institute of Reality Therapy are the ones that monitor where you have been and what's following along. And so in the thinking and the acting is you want to be active, not reactive to situations and so forth. And then always, always, always be kind because of who you are. That you are a person that has worth and value. You have talents. And whether you realize it or not, you have gifts to give to others as well as to be able to receive gifts from others. So, 11 steps to accentuating and accepting who we are, just to accept that this is a gift. And if something is a gift, Just receive it and have an appreciation for it because it probably was there. And so I'm going to talk about them, but I'm also going to pretty much kind of read what I have in my book, Creating Value. Step number one is to realize your personal worth, your value, and your dignity. Never misunderstand, never mistake your self worth with your net worth. Never mistake those two. You know, sometimes we think, well, but I have so much stuff and so much money and so much this that makes me better than everyone else. Well, not necessarily. Or sometimes we may think, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have anything, so therefore I'm not worth anything. So recognize that you as an individual have worth, value, and dignity as a human being, the highest order on planet Earth, and never mistake your self-worth and your net value. Our self-worth and our net value. Don't confess, don't get the dollar signs all mixed up in there. Okay, so point number two is be thankful for who you are thus far. You see, we can take a snapshot of ourselves anytime in life, but that snapshot is not permanent. That snapshot is who we were at age 3. That snapshot is who we were at age 10. That snapshot is who we are now. So be thankful for who you are thus far. You are not a static individual, and we can change. We have those abilities to change our mind and to change our thoughts and to look at things a little differently, to see if we have been illusioned by it, whether it's been deluded by it, whether we are seeing things, and to begin to recognize the gifts and the talents that we have been gifted with, even if we're not making hundreds or it's, you know, even if it's not 100% thus, because it's part of the natural growing. The more we grow and literally grow, the more we learn, the more beneficial we are. So also to begin to deflate an overinflated ego. That low self-esteem is often boosted, you know, by a ego. And that ego can get up here and the ego kind of tries to offset, you know, feeling like, well, I don't matter too much, but you really do. And it is realizing that just tell that ego to chill and be who you are. And again, it goes back to acting rather than reacting to anything that goes on, either in a positive or a negative way. Number 4 is to detect a possible bitter spirit within you as to who you are, what your heritage is, what your lineage is, or how you look, or how you perform. To detect that there's possibly that bitter spirit in it. Well, why wasn't I as talented as my brother? Or why wasn't I as blank as, you know, that just begin to detect if you have that bitter spirit, because that bitter spirit can help to push us down in life rather than to lift us up. Point number 5 is to take measures to enhance your natural beauty, your natural giftedness, your natural physics, and your natural talents. That, you know, put on makeup, shave, get a haircut, do whatever it is that can help to enhance your natural beauty. You know, begin to have a little energy so that we can be more physical. Stand erect, don't slouch, walk 25% faster than you have been. This will help you to understand and to begin to breathe in that energy. We breathe in air and it gets into our bloodstream, and we breathe out carbon monoxide. And so the more we can do to enhance our natural gifting of our beauty and our physics and our talents, although there may be some areas that need to be corrected, whether it is crooked teeth or eyes that need glasses, go ahead and, you know, correct those things. Take the measures that's needed. But I would encourage you not to jump off the deep end and do a whole lot of chemical and surgical things, to just appreciate who you are. Focus on your potential, not your limitations. Live more from imagination than from memory. That, well, I messed up on this, I didn't accomplish that, I blah, blah, blah. Look, put those failures behind you and acknowledge, that was then, this is now. And visualize the person you can become. And then live up to that new image that you are giving yourself, that that potential is there. And then rehearse and build on positive memories, those times that you did succeed, those times that you did overcome. And then your success is limited only by your perceptions as to whether or not you are successful or valuable. So, point number 7, being aware of barriers that hinder growth. What kind of self-talk do you give to yourself? How much do you beat yourself up? Or how much do you, what about procrastination or addictions, bad habits, poor time management, inadequate money management? Be aware of those barriers that hinder your growth. External barriers include those past failures, that being compared to others, and that's not ever a good thing in those comparisons. It's realizing who you are and what you've done, those lack of skills, that insufficient education. Well, as long as there's breath still within the body, there's the possibility that those things can be overcome. And all of those buts can be correctable, and that we can grow in the long term, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all the ways. So number 8, in accepting and accentuating, is to recognize that everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Everyone has. That's not to put anyone down or to lift anyone up to exalt as much. An undeveloped strength is as bad as not having the talent at all. To have those talents, to have those goals, but not pursuing them. That's just so the best that you can be and the best that you can do, but don't be in competition with others. Be the best you can be, because you are a person of worth and value. Point number 9, know that maturity is an ongoing process and well worth the effort. Now, right here, I have a typo. I said that maturity, it's not to be if, it's an is. That's a miscalculation. And so we're going to laugh about it rather than see it as a big harm. Our maturity is an ongoing process, and it is well worth the effort. It always pays to take the high road. It always pays to take the high road. To be the one that, rather than pointing out all of the negatives, is just to say, well, I don't know, but always taking the high road. 10, to be self-oriented, to be service-oriented, to find fulfillment in giving, to realize that you have gifts and talents, and to guard against trying to be all things to all people. If you can help one or two, fine. Giving both service delivered as well as values transferred. And then number 11 is balancing your opinion of people, because every one of us is fabulous, but we also have our flaws. From misunderstandings, from things that we thought was going to happen that didn't. The other person is important, and you are important too. The other person has strengths and weaknesses. Guess what? You and I have strengths and weaknesses also. And so humility comes when we, as these flawed and fabulous people, begin to realize that with my flaws, I can get along with you. With my fabulousness, I can get along with you. And the same thing is also that we are willing to receive correction from and regard for others. So, as I've kind of wrapped this up, want to share with you a poem that I wrote in, I think it was 19, so anyway, many years ago, many moons ago. And this poem kept the thoughts once I got home, I'd been to a Toastmasters convention in Dallas, and I was the president of that particular league, and we were, and anyway, some things had happened in there, and there was someone that I was judgmental of, and on the way home, I began to really think about that and how that I'm not, we all have flaws and weaknesses, and also the person that went with me, who was riding back with me, was rather well, we were just discussing things that after I got home and really began to think about it, I thought, whoa, I'm disappointed in who I have shown myself to be during that particular term. So I wrote this poem, and it came out, and I was just thinking about life in general and people in general, and it's called "Who Am I?" I am the grown man struggling to find his way in life, to climb the corporate ladder, to be accepted in social circles, to be loving son, devoted husband, nurturing father, and respected civic leader. But I'm struggling because deep inside, I'm still a little boy, the one shunned by playmates, the one teased by contemporaries, the one ridiculed by siblings, the one painfully shy. Who am I? I am the adult woman trying to cope in an unfriendly world, to balance the delicate scales of family and career, to bridge the gap between three generations, trying to be all things to all people. But it is difficult because deep inside, I'm still a little girl, the one ignored when I had important questions, the one rejected when I had viable solutions, the one dismissed when I had valuable opinions, the one desperately lonely. Who am I? I am the one who eats uncontrollably, who binges and purges, the one who searches for solace in cold, hard bottle, the one who withdraws into private thoughts and an impenetrable shell. I am the neighborhood bully. I am the high school show off. I am the town clown. I am the always agreeable neighbor. Who am I? I am the hurting one. I am the hurting one because I have failed to see the reality of who I am. Who am I? I am the one created in God's image, in a divine image. I am the one personally knit together while still in my mother's womb. I am the one for whom Christ suffered and died. I am the one with infinite value and great worth. I am dear to God's heart. I am the one loved with an everlasting love. I am somebody. And we make errors in life. We make mistakes. But you know what? We're capable of not only forgiving others, but we're capable of being forgiven. And as we will receive that and work on being more fabulous than being flawed, and just realize that. So thank you for being here, and hope this has given some thoughts that might help you as you go through the areas of life. So thanks for being here, and many blessings.